I think Americans are just aching for normal. They're aching for normal, right? And everyone, I think, on the left, and many people in the middle, thought they got it in 2020 when Biden was elected. He came in and he was in the high 50s in approval rating. And then it turns out that he wasn't providing any sort of normal.
It's good to be here, guys.
Dude, you still got a full head of hair. It's bullshit. I don't appreciate
dude,
it.
It's leaving. It's starting to leave, dude. We're starting to get a little bit.
That is so solid. Fuck you, Sam. That is a incredibly solid head of hair.
I might be shaving it soon and just be like, yeah, fuck you, Mother Nature. You want to play this game? I'm just sad that, but you're lucky you got a great head to shave. That's true. Very round. You have a Lex Luthor head. Right? You look good.
Bad guy head, right?
Right? You got a Lex Luthor head. Me, dude, I think I got a we are from France head. I think I got a cone head. I am from France with my cone head.
I feel like I've got like Professor X head.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Anyways, welcome aboard, Sam Tripoli.
Gay at the Liberty Lockdown.
Sam Tripoli, Top Lobster. We about to get gay up in this motherfucker. This may not be the most serious episode. We were supposed to have the other half of Nephilim Death Squad, but he is on parenting duty.
Just like, Sam's coming back. He's like, I don't want to talk to Sam again.
Done.
All right, I get it.
Yeah. Like, I'm out of here. No, seriously, Sam, I think you're the hardest working and the nicest person I've met in podcasting. So
thank you, buddy. I appreciate
thank you for joining.
That.
This is actually this is your first time on Liberty Lockdown. This is how respectful I am of my famous friends, is that I never invite my famous friends on. I don't fuck with them at all. I just leave them be.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I had to do it. I had to do it one time.
Anytime.
Well, thank you, man. I had to do it one time. So the world is weird. And Sam Tripoli is a specialist in talking about weird.
Yeah.
I'm open to taking this however you guys want to take it, but I guess we should deal with the biggest weirdness, which is this drone story. At this point, I'm fairly convinced it's either government operation to sniff out nuclear material that they lost, or it's a psyop to just fuck with us and make us lose our minds.
Yes.
Either way, it's the U.S. government. So that's my conclusion. Do you guys disagree at all?
We had a great show yesterday with the boys from Nephilim Death Squad. They came on ours, and Mark came on too, and it was great. And I think the answer to your question is yes. I think it's both of those. I think, but I think it's more the second one than anything. It is the presentation of a nuclear, like we're looking for dirty bombs, right? Then this allows something to go off. They're setting the precedence for it. And then this is data, dude. This is data. How are we going to react to drones in the sky? And that's really what I think is it, dude. Everything is data. Everything is like, how are we going to react to it, read off it, and then they know how to play it. And it's like, this goes back to Obama phones, right? Like Obama phones were data. It's like hand out phones to poor people, see what pisses them off, learn that data, and then piss them off. And that's kind of what they did. So that's what I think's going on right now.
Do you think that the Obama phones set off the George Floyd riots?
100%. That was the whole purpose of them, is to just completely and utterly find out what pisses this demographic off and then be able to milk the fuck out of that to get them.
Wow. I had never heard that theory. That's fascinating. Top, I assume you agree with Sam's analysis. If you don't, let me know. But
I like how racist that analysis is. I mean, he's not doing it intentionally, but I'm going to use it and spin it into such a racist rant.
Who got Obama phones? I mean, it's like, this is my whole thing with anything. This is kind of my thing right now, where it's like my thing with Jews right now, right? And my girlfriend's Jewish, Mitzi Shore's Jewish, she's Jews. But my whole thing is like, it's not hate speech if we're discussing data, okay, and facts. It's not hate speech. And all I ever want is equality for everybody, meaning I want everyone to be treated like white people on Twitter in 2008, where if you pulled some shit, you got called out on it. And that's all I've ever said. So there's nothing racist going, Obama gave poor black people free phones because Obama gave poor black people free phones. There's nothing racist about it.
It's the same idea as Elon Musk giving the right wing and conspiracy theorists an open space to talk on X.
And I'm thriving there. It is the weirdest. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to it. It's crazy to me that I'm consistently getting hundreds of 1,000 views on anything. That hasn't happened to me since 2015. That's how, like, I'm trying not to talk about this guy anymore, but like just listening to Anthony Jeselnik going around talking about how cancel culture isn't real. When I've had personally all my friends get kicked off of Patreon, my shit shadow banned to the dark realms. I mean, I almost lost my second YouTube channel, you know? So like whatever's happening.
You spent 9 years in purgatory, and this guy's going to tell you, oh, well, I mean, what's crazy about it, Jeselnik too, is like, he makes the most messed up jokes, but he gets away with it because I guess it's obviously joking. I don't know why does he get treated so well?
He's an insider. He's in the cool kids in Hollywood crew. That's why he's allowed to do it. They identify him as one of them, so he's allowed to do it. And again, I love Jeselnik. I've said this 1,000 times. I'm trying not to talk about, but it infuriates me so much that he's literally trying to say that nobody gets canceled. You don't get canceled. You don't get canceled. There's people who say things that you don't like that get kicked off of platforms. Happens all the effing time. And like, and your belief is because they're saying things you don't like. Milo got kicked off of everything. Nick Fuentes got kicked off everything. You don't like what they're saying, so it doesn't ring with you as cancel culture, but that's 100% cancel culture right there. So it's crazy what's going on Twitter.
Milo Yiannopoulos basically got canceled for being a victim of a adult male predator, like, and talking about it openly. That was the weirdest thing. They're like, I mean, that was the most definitional victim blaming I've ever seen. He's like, yes, as a young boy, we all gained our stripes by sleeping with older men, and it's like. I was like, it sounds like he's just telling the truth. It doesn't sound like he's saying he's done it to minors, but then he was just gone, like banished to the shadow realm. Yeah,
it's like
amazing.
Getting somebody for tax evasion when really they're a cold-blooded murderer. It's just a reason that they used. But let me ask you this, Sam. I have gone crazy over the last 4 years. Clearly, my mental stability has declined, and now I look at everything as a conspiracy. So now that I'm being allowed to talk, and like the things that I'm saying and doing aren't being readily removed from the internet, I'm extremely suspicious. When you pair Elon Musk, who is doing this, he's the one who's presented this free speech platform to us. At the same time, he has like a Neuralink thing. He's working on Grok, which is AI. And it just seems like he's getting data together to then create profiles on the conspiracy theorists as we move into a conspiracy theorist world.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can't enjoy Twitter and also follow Whitney Webb. Those things cannot coexist. But I also know that what else are we going to do? What else are we going to do? Like, here's my whole thing. And I like, it's like Whitney Webb I'm always honored that she would come on my show and just talk to a bunch of knuckle draggers. So I'm always honored to talk to her. She's probably right about all this stuff, but there's something about like, what is the option to go to Odyssey? Like I upload all my stuff to Odyssey out of respect for what they're trying to do. I get 50 views on Odyssey, like 50. I get 50 views.
I get 50 to 100.
But I love Odyssey, and I do because I love what they're doing. The same thing is with Sovereign Media. I don't get any views on there, but I know what they're trying to do, so I help them out. Twitter is the only place I'm getting any kind of love and reaching anybody. I don't know if it's doing any good, but when I see the views I get, it makes me feel like a normal human being. It really sucks.
Yeah, real quick, Tom. I did a 500 million impressions, 500 million impressions on X last year. If Whitney Webb thinks I'm going to stop using that so that I can stop programming Grok, she's out of her fucking mind. I'm going to use that.
Stop. She's just telling you what you're helping build. And it's like, it's literally what we did with YouTube. The conspiracy community built YouTube up. And then as soon as it got to where they wanted, they ran them out. That's just like, we're basically, we're ISIS and YouTube is Israel, right? They use us to do all their dirty work, and then they just assassinate us. And that's kind of what he's doing, because I feel like Twitter is the exact same thing.
So
it has the exact same
X is
vibe.
Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. That makes perfect sense.
I mean, the energy is the same as when, like, before Hillary Clinton destroyed YouTube. Like, the energy is the same on Twitter, where it's like, oh, man, I could say some shit right here, and it feels good, and everyone's interacting. Now, I also know they silo the fuck out of us. They put us, it's like, wow, can't tell you how many times I get clicked over to the For You thing where I'm not even asking for that. And that's them programming me, right? When it's, oh, you might like this. So, oh, that's what you want me to see.
Right.
Then I have to click back to follow the people I actually like. So
what I find remarkable is that I never seem to get much interaction from outside of our world. You know how, like, the Krasensteins and shit, like, they'll get just obliterated by conservatives. Like, I almost never, like, I go viral almost every day. I almost never have people that really come at me sideways and oppose me. So it's obvious that while I have tremendous reach, I am tremendously siloed from the alternative worldview.
There are things you can do, and as a Twitter expert, there are things you can do to get into these other worlds, and I've done them successfully multiple times. It's like doing a backflip and landing and going ta-da, because now I'm in like Black Twitter or something. So I called out Black Twitter with the Carnival Cruise thing, and people were mad, like on our end, were like kind of saying this is funny, this is racist, whatever, blah blah blah. Somebody said, yo, this is wrong, and then they just said hashtag Black Twitter. Like, they called Black Twitter on me, and all of a sudden that tweet doubled in virality for the next 2 days, and it's only Black Twitter. So I was like, oh, I slipped into the matrix, like, I'm in there. And I just did it again with transgender Twitter, with my famous tweet where I say like, I just asked, should the transgender own guns? And I let people go crazy there. It's just go ahead, open debate, yes or no. And now it's slipped into there, and I'm like, all right, I actually got to get out of there, because that's a dangerous place.
So I put out this thing because just a grenade went off in the flat Earth world, and everyone's losing it, and there's a giant debate about what's going on with that. So I just asked.
I can't believe that there's been years of this theory, and no one just ever went to Antarctica and set up a fucking camera for 24 hours. That's all it took to devour this debate. So
crazy, right? I mean, it's really crazy, and I don't know what it means. It's like, Owen Benjamin said it. He goes, it's just like, yeah, this destroys the current model of flat Earth, but the globe model has been destroyed well before this. So I don't know what the answer is about where we live. I've always said it's much different. I would say it's more of an energy vortex than anything else. But it's definitely not what they're telling us. I mean, why would this be the one thing to write about? Nothing, it's like, what's the quote from 1984? Their greatest command is to get you, the party that wants you not to believe your eyes and ears is, that's their most essential command. I paraphrase that.
Their final and most essential command, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about everything. Like, they just are constantly lying to you, and people just want to defend that lie because they would like to think they got a good bullshit meter. So wherever we live, whatever we live on, it's much different than what we think, and we've obviously learned another model isn't right. So I don't know what the answer is.
Well, I'm the resident globetard that thinks that our planet is in fact round, but I will move past that and just elaborate off of the conspiracy.
Is that why you shaved your head?
Yes.
In tribute?
My head is shaped exactly like our planet.
Dude, your skull is so good, dude. You got a good
shiny
skull.
Right?
So good, dude. I would be bald by now if I had that skull.
Before I even went bald, and by the way, I still have a decent head of hair, but before I even started to shave my head, I had like a lot of hair, and I shaved it one time, and I was just like, my head looks dope. Like, I'm just going to do this. Fuck that.
Yeah.
So
why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly.
But going back, it's like I just asked, what does the 24-hour moon last? And dude, 250,000 views on Twitter. So
wow.
It seems, it's crazy.
What was the findings from the poll?
Just
They called him gay.
Fake and gay. But they're just arguing, what does the fake moon mean? And now, there's a lot of people in the flat earth dealing with, calling like Witsit controlled op, which I find that insulting. I think he's pretty genuine in what he's doing, and so they're dealing with it. And maybe they needed this. Maybe they need to retinker the model or accept that it is around. I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Yeah, no, it is. So this perfectly ties into the, I mean, if that's a psyop, certainly this drone shit's a psyop. Like, you have to imagine, given that we have the largest federal government, largest military in human history of any nation on Earth, there's no fucking chance that they don't know what's in our skies. like 0% chance. So obviously no. So they know. So obviously they're lying to us. So obviously there's a reason that they're lying to us. I am of the opinion that like the whole lockdown era was as much about, you know, pushing bullshit and getting pharma paid and transferring wealth as it was just seeing what our breaking point is. Like, what can they do to us before we absolutely lose our fucking minds? And I felt like they basically lifted the lockdowns like right at the threshold by which we were going to lose our fucking minds. And it was like, okay, we're back into reality. Everybody's fine. Everybody moves on as if that shit didn't even happen. Like, we weren't in fucking hell for a year and a half or however long it was wherever you live. I mean, am I the only one that feels like when you talk to other people about it, it's like they don't even remember it? It's like it never happened. And are we the only ones that experience that? It's fucking weird.
It is crazy. And like the other day, it might have been on your episode you came on top, but you know, I go, this drone thing has all the energy of COVID lockdowns. It has the exact same energy. Like something is going on, something bigger is about to blow up, and it's just like it's being forced on us. And you're so right. I mean, like, they just consistently manipulate us, and that is really it. Like, what is the purpose of us doing what we do in the content creating world? What is the purpose of that, and why do we do it? And for me, it's like, I don't like getting lied to, and I don't want to fall for their psyops. That's the whole purpose of all this. It's like, where's my energy going? Where the energy goes, where your attention goes, the energy goes, right? So if I'm focusing on aliens coming, I'm living a crazy ass life, and I'm scared. Like, a buddy of mine is scared shitless in New Jersey. I love him to pieces. He's my best friend. Scared shitless, and you got to talk him off this ledge, dude. There's a dirt nuke in New Jersey. It's like, dude, they got you. And if there is a nuke and it goes off, guess what? Bang, goodbye. You don't have to worry about it.
Please tell me this isn't Eddie Bravo. He's safe, right?
No.
Okay.
I mean, Eddie and I don't believe in nukes. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't have big bombs that go boom. Whole like once Gaylord Windsor, whatever his name is, eating uranium. He's the guy that built all the nuclear facilities in America, and he's like, they're lying to you. He's eating the uranium. I'm like, oh, it's all bullshit. When they're like, wow, there's wild wolves in Chernobyl. I'm like, we have this power that you don't have, and if you don't fucking do what we tell you, we're gonna nuke you. And they're like, it's all bullshit.
Health insurance is confusing, expensive, and frustrating, and claim denials are becoming more and more common. In fact, 1 in 5 Obamacare claims were denied last year, and that is simply unacceptable. I cannot stand the health insurance process. It is the bane of my existence. The headache of health insurance is exactly why Crowd Health was created. It's not health insurance. It's a better way to pay for healthcare through crowdfunding. So stop sending money to big insurance companies who profit off of not paying your bills and check out Crowd Health. For $175 for an individual or $575 for a family of 4 or more, you'll get access to a community of people who are willing to help out in the event of an emergency. You'll get access to telemedicine visits, discounted prescriptions, and so much more without doctors' networks getting in the way. And of course, you'll join the crowd. A group of members just like you who want to help pay for each other's unexpected medical events. Let Crowd Health help with your healthcare needs. Get started today for just $99 per month for your first 3 months by using code LOCKDOWN at joincrowdhealth.com. Crowd Health is not insurance. Learn more at joincrowdhealth.com. That's joincrowdhealth.com, code LOCKDOWN. So do you think this perfectly ties into my question about the Russia-Ukraine war and basically what is Cold War 2.0? This is essentially a proxy war between the two largest nuclear powers on Earth. So your belief is that the reason that they're capable of doing that is because nuclear arsenals are not real.
I'm not saying that today. Maybe they came up with some. I do not think nuclear bombs, as we have been told, are real. I think when you watch that video, that the guy came on Joe Rogan and he was talking about how the video of like the bomb going off that the military put out showing the palm trees getting rocked, right. And it's all models that, like, you watch it, you go, that's a tiny model. That's not a real thing. But we were so not, as much as we like to think that people in the past were the smartest people ever. You're like, oh, 1950s, they would be Einstein compared to us today. They thought that was real. They said, wow, that's a real thing right there.
It was 70. It was 75 years ago. Like TV had just basically become commonplace. So
I totally
of course
understand that.
They see that footage and they're like, yeah, that's real. Like people thought that they were being invaded by aliens because of a radio broadcast.
Right. But we're a lot more savvy than that. I'm just saying, like, smarts shows up in different areas. We may not be the most articulate as they used to be, but maybe we're also better at, like, hey, get to the point, fuckface. You're talking forever with these long-ass words. Nobody wants to hear it. And we're a lot more savvy in what is being presented to us. It gets harder and harder to pull, and that's why, to fool us. That's why I think their only card left is Operation Bluebeam. That's it. Well, there's nothing left.
Doesn't it hinge? It's interesting that it hinges on the fact that there are nuclear bombs. Because when they play this out, and I was talking to Clint pre-show about it, he was like, I can't wait for the aliens to come and disarm these people, these madmen with the nuclear bombs. Well, if they don't exist, then it kind of takes away the premise that these are our benevolent space friends. You know, it's bullshit. It's like, but every time these nuclear bombs get brought up, I'm looking at this spreadsheet here, like from the Foo Fighters to Roswell, to different military bases, you'll have UFO sightings. And this is just, it's a given. It's a historical fact. You could look it up. There's UFO sightings over these bases. They even interfere with the technology sometimes. So it's like, I don't think this shit's real either. What are they interfering with? Or is this just like a ruse for them to come and present with a story?
I mean, they've been talking about Project Bluebeam forever. It's always been something. So, like, who knows what technology they had for how long, right? I mean, like, when we look at alien crafts, what we are saying is that people, like things, entities from bazillions of miles away, okay, flew here and crashed. Right? Like they're flying through space at a speed we don't even understand. And somehow, because they're Japanese grays and they can't drive once they get into our atmosphere, something about their Asian DNA, just suddenly they don't know how to fly this craft and it crashes. That's what, and then we believe these Japanese grays, they just get them and put them in a cell, and then they're like, I don't know how to get out. Like, there's so much bullshit. Like, you remember when the red balloon was there, and they're like, oh my God, the balloon! And then, like, 2 weeks later, like, we shot down an alien craft in Canada. We shot it down. Okay, so you're telling me you didn't know what to do with the balloon, but this thing from a bazillion miles away, you have pew, 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 and then, oh, boom. like they assume you're stupid, and we're just getting more and more savvy.
Here's the problem, is that most people are stupid, so it works on most people.
That's our job.
Yes.
Our job isn't to convince them. Our job is to plant the seed of doubt that festers in their head as they start to see things that we told them, look for this, and you'll see. And they start to wake up. Because my buddy in Jersey was telling me all of his karate parents who are ex-military all think these drones are from Iran. Like, how does that equate in your head? 50 cents of every dollar goes to the military, and they're just going to allow fucking Iranian pizza slices to fly into the sky. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, the problem is that they have congressional representatives that are coming out and telling them that. So it's very easy for those that still trust the science, trust the Congress, that they're going to buy it. It's obviously ridiculous. I actually side with Top on this. You'll be surprised to hear this, Top, that I think it is so far-fetched that a foreign civilization or intergalactic civilization could actually get here, travel, thousands, if not millions of light years, but then be shot down or just crash, which is obviously absurd. So I've always assumed, like, all right, well, then they're probably advanced technology from our government or another government, or it's just like interdimensional shit. And then they don't have to be that advanced. They just have to have the capacity to basically wormhole here. And then, I mean, yes, that seems like, okay, if they have that technology, they must be so much more.
That's on the table.
Yeah, but it could still be that like they just have that, but other than that, they're relatively close to us technologically, and that's why they're able to crash still or be shot down. I don't know. I don't know where I fall on it. Or they're fucking demons.
That's on the table.
It's more complex than that. Like it's in the Bible, Genesis 6:4. It's in Deuteronomy. It's in Numbers. It's in the Book of Enoch. It's the same thing. They come from wherever they come from. In this case, the heavens. They present technology in exchange for, in the Bible, it's
to bang our chicks.
Women. Yeah, and now
just
it might
banging
be
Earth ass.
It's kind of the same thing now. Like
like French chicks bang Nazis. Our chicks are banging these fallen angels.
Yeah, dog.
Ridiculous. Chicks love bad boys. They're gonna fuck interdimensionals.
But like what is wasn't there an agreement, like a government agreement for them to allow aliens to abduct a certain amount of people?
I think it's Eisenhower. So one of the things that Tucker Carlson's doing right now is he's trying to reimagine Nixon. He's trying to convince everybody that Nixon wasn't that bad. There's a 60-minute video that just completely puts a stake in the heart of the theory that Nixon was somehow a good guy. And it's that Eisenhower, Nixon, and a Rothschild or a Rockefeller formed a committee, and they're all the ones that brought over all the Nazis. They brought them all over. You can watch it. It's 60 minutes. There's a Boston lawyer that through FISA or Freedom of Information Act was allowed one day, couldn't take notes. He only got to read. Okay. He only got to read, and he read that basically Nixon was part of a group that brought over all the Nazis. And so Eisenhower, that was it. Basically, that's where the 411 comes from. And the deal was that if we exchange technology, right, with them, they can basically abduct people, but it's only from these wild forest areas, that these national forests, and that's
state
it.
Forest. Yeah.
State forests. Yeah, that's the deal. That's Operation High Jump, basically.
Right. So it's the same story though, right? Take it down, take all the fancy parts out that make it modern. And it's like, there's been a deal made for them to get human women or maybe men with reproductive rights. And they're always screwing around with that stuff. Whenever you hear the alien abduction stories, they put something in my ass. They're messing with my uterus or whatever. And some women even come out with pregnancies, and they lose those pregnancies mysteriously. I've spoken to Karen Wilkinson. You probably had her on your show, Sam.
Yep. She's great.
There's tons of these stories from like L.A. Marzulli. He has a bunch of these people that are victims of this. Anyway, the MO remains the same throughout time. So that's why when I'm like, you're saying space aliens, I'm saying demons, fallen angels. It's a rebranding. It's the same thing.
Aleister Crowley talked about it.
Why Aleister Crowley summoned a gray alien, which he called a demon. It's called Lamb. If you look up the drawing, it's like big head, big eyes, tiny little mouth. It's what you describe a gray alien as.
Yeah, Japanese gray.
Why would it they can't fucking drive their planes.
Japanese gray, big slanted eyes.
why if they are demons, Top, why would they need to have ships and fly around and study us? Like, wouldn't they kind of be all knowing? No?
No, they're angels, fallen angels. So they are supernatural to a degree, but they do have faults and they have personalities. So the ship, I mean, it's mentioned in the Bible, like Ezekiel's wheel, things like this, when he went up in a flaming chariot. Like, they don't have words to describe it, so it looks like a horse with fire coming out of it. This is just the technology that they have, that they are using. And now we're at the point in humanity where we're able to back engineer some of this stuff. I think because the deals have probably just gotten that intent, probably because we have some Jewish leadership. We're getting some better deals with the demons.
It's always the Jews, bro. So basically, Aleister Crowley said that we will be entering the new age of Thoth. Is that how you pronounce it? Thoth.
I don't know. I've only read it.
But when demons come back under another name and people worship the planet of fire, something along the line, which is basically climate change, and then aliens. So it seems like that's where we're at right now. He predicted all that stuff. Again, We can get into who runs the world. I think it's the black nobility, and under them is like the British Empire, and that's it. The Jew World Order people just are getting the low hanging fruit because they just love it. It's so much easier. But at the end of the day, it's like there's just giant manipulation top down, and this seems to be it. This seems to be they have to constantly have us in fear, because once we're not there, we're not afraid of them. They got nothing.
Well, I have a very, very interesting event that happened yesterday. It was Russian General Igor Kirillov. He was attacked via what looks like allegedly was a scooter bomb. The explosion, I'm not going to play it because it probably will get this video taken down, but he essentially gets blown up. You can't really see much. I don't know if it's from the vehicle, if it's from a missile, if it's from a bomb on a scooter, which is what the reports are. But what makes this story fascinating to me is that General Kirillov was responsible for putting together the charts that connected all of the dots between Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Burisma, Rosemont Seneca, and the biolabs in Ukraine. That was his main claim to fame, is that he was saying, yo, the reason that they were here is because they were basically creating bioweapons in Ukraine. Now, I haven't ever seen anything to corroborate that aside from the Russian documents, and I'm not going to go to the mat saying that the Russians wouldn't also be propagandizing and lying to us, because obviously they are too.
100%.
Yeah, but that's pretty wild that this dude, I mean, you haven't seen many high-level leadership in Russia that's got whacked by the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians immediately, this is also interesting, the Ukrainians immediately took credit for it. The American government says we have nothing to do with it. Well, I think we can all assume that means that the CIA was responsible and that the Ukrainians had nothing to do with it. Okay.
It's unbelievable.
So it sounds like we're all seeing this the same way. Today, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Monetary Metals. Gold prices have been breaking all-time highs in 2024, and now you can get your gold to work for you, generating interest income every month paid in additional ounces of physical gold. You can earn up to 5% on your gold and silver in their lease offerings, and accredited investors can earn double-digit returns in their bond offerings. Again, all the interest is paid in ounces, which are stored for free on your behalf. It's a really cool product and a great business model, and I love it. So, if you're tired of your gold and silver collecting dust at home, or worse, racking up fees having your metal professionally stored, check out monetary-metals.com/lockdown to learn how you can start putting your metal to work today. Again, that's monetary-metals.com/lockdown.
Well, again, I think all of our intelligence agencies are just all under the British intelligence. I think Israel, I think Saudi Arabia are British territories. I think the Ukraine is British territory. I think all this is what's going on, dude. It's so. I still think we're under British rule. I think the Balfour Doctrine was just a fucking theatrics. So everyone's like, oh, they gave it away. They gave it away.
So you think MI6 is the real badass on the planet?
Alexander Hamilton was an agent, I think, right after 1776.
Aleister Crowley was, Hitler was, the first king of House of Saud, British intelligence. Yeah, it's at the highest levels. It's like why overtly own everything when you could just do it under kind of let other people run it while you call the shots.
I read that book on it. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was basically a guy that was writing a book to try and debunk the narrative. And then he basically proved it out that, yeah, it was British nobility that largely runs the world, and that they had done it through Woodrow Wilson with the passing of the Federal Reserve Act. And I'm like, it's compelling.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
so,
very interesting.
It's crazy. There's actually a theory that a large percentage of our taxes actually just goes to the British Crown. That Ben Franklin made a fat deal with the royals to just give them a percentage of our taxes.
See, what the reason I have a hard time believing that either the CIA or MI6, for the audience's sake, if they're not familiar, MI6 is MI5 is their FBI, MI6 is their CIA, just to give it in American terminology. I find it very hard to believe that those nations are really in the catbird seat at this point, just given that it seems so obvious to me that our war faring, our warmongering over the past 25 years has been to the benefit of a nation that is neither of those, and that the consequences of those wars has led to massive immigration floods, which have essentially overwhelmed and largely undermined the fabric of those nations. So that tells me that maybe it's not to their benefit, but they could have higher level maneuvering. I'm not sure.
I believe that the elites and the people are two different things.
Right. Yeah, it's not
That
the same
elite, the people of Britain aren't the same as the elites of Britain, and they're just this apex predator class that doesn't give a fuck about anybody. What's the immigration situation in the city of London? Are they overwhelmed right now with Haitians? Are they overwhelmed right now with Syrians? Have we heard anything about what's going on with immigration in the city of London?
In the actual proper city? No, I don't know.
No, dude. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about London. I'm talking about the city of London. You know those are two different things, right?
No.
Oh, really? Oh, these are my favorite moments. When you teach somebody something, this is great.
I did not know that.
There is London, and then there is the city of London.
Okay.
And the city of London is a sovereign territory that is not ruled by England.
So it's like the Rome shit?
Where there are three sovereign territories that pay no taxes and follow no rules in to any country. And it is
really?
Rome, the city of London, and DC, Washington DC.
Wow. I did not know that. That is.
Doesn't the Vatican fall? With the Vatican
this is so fun. These are my favorite moments.
With the Vatican fall under there?
I don't learn things very often.
By the way, this is the exact same feeling I got when I got to tell Tim Dillon about Building 6 on 9/11. He didn't know about Building 6. It's my favorite moment. So when Queen Elizabeth and now King Charles, he has to formally ask for permission to enter the city of London.
No way.
Yes, he's not allowed to go in. There is a whole formal process and ceremony for him to enter that.
And who runs that? I guess that's the black nobility, as you described them?
Yes. And nobody knows about the black nobility, because if they would, there'd be 1,000 rap groups called Black Nobility, and there's zero. Right? Right? And so they are the Babylonian bankers. Those are the real people that run everything, right? They're the real ones. Everybody else, if you know their names, are just like office employees to these guys, and they're basically the 13 families, right? And they call it the black nobility because they basically tried to, at some point, and they eventually got it, but they wanted to take over the Vatican, and it's basically based on like 60 years of darkness at the Vatican, where this Pope wouldn't come out because he knew they were trying to take him out. So, but they run everything.
I will say something that's always kind of mystified me, that if you're one of the wealthiest families on the planet and you're kind of running shit, right? Like, to do that generationally, to do that from your kid to your grandkid to kid you'll never meet 100 years down the road, and your family is still going to maintain that wealth, power, control, influence, like, that is a level of planning, or honestly superiority. Like, to pull that off is fucking not easy. Like, most people, particularly in America, if you're one of the top 1%, the odds of your kids being that it's higher than it is for someone who comes from, the hood. But it's still, there's a really good chance that you are not going to duplicate the feat of your parents. Like, that's what I think what makes America special, is that it is a fucking teeter-totter. Like, you can come in and you can crush it, but if your kid's a fucking idiot, he's going to eat shit. Unless he's Hunter Biden, in which case he gets a pardon. But
then he can't eat shit because he's too cracked out, and he's not hungry.
That's right. Exactly. He's not eating anything except for his niece's
by the way,
ass.
whatever you want to say about Hunter Biden, that guy gets the best crack. It's the best coke because he always has a giant snuffleupagus dick. Like, dude, anybody else who does blow, they get coke dick and it sucks. And he just has the fattest hog all the time smoking rock. So it's like the purest of pure coke.
Did you see that last night Hunter Biden met Flavor Flav?
It's so funny. It's the best. We live in a clown world. And when I found out that Bronny James has sold 500,000 jerseys.
50 million.
Yeah,
no, but they made 50 million, but they sold half a million jerseys.
Yeah, you're right.
We are a nation of retards. I'm gonna need that.
Sorry, I just wanted to show you that real quick because
it's pure clown world.
I honestly believe that's the first time in Flavor Flav's life that he's met someone who's consumed more cocaine than he has. Like, it's got to be the first time.
And Hunter Biden just went around and banged all of his friends' daughters. He's banged the Obama girls, Lady Gaga, his dead brother. I mean, like, that's the sickest of them all. I mean, that's the sickest motherfucker.
Well, I think it gets way worse because I'm pretty sure he's hooking up with his niece too. This dude is like,
that's what I was saying. His dead brother's daughter. Yeah, sorry, I mean, it's gross.
I got to make this point though because I gave this lengthy thing and I never actually got to the conclusion. What it tells me, sorry, Top's connection is bad. He'll be back in a sec. What it tells me is that it probably means that you have some, I don't know, spiritual level shenanigans that you're pulling off to stay in that catbird seat for thousands of years, or at least hundreds of years, through generations and generations. It seems as if you couldn't just do that based off of like the wishes of your great grandpappy, that you might actually have some sort of spiritual tools to assist you with this. And I know this has always been something I've poo-pooed and thought of as nonsensical. Do you think that they are using black magic to maintain kind of a spell over the people?
Well, it's why they intermarry. I mean, they do data on their kids, like who shows the data of a psychopath. So, it's like, my son, I don't have a boy, I'd love to have a son, but my son is next in line, but he doesn't show any of the signs of being it. So maybe this guy's kid, they get, people marry. Now his kid comes in. They're all doing data. And now I think it's even getting away from that. I think they're just like trying to find the smartest psychopaths to put them into power, Wow. But yeah, I mean, that's like, they don't have normal childhoods. Okay. It's not like they wake up and like, they're not looking for the Paris Hiltons. The Paris Hiltons are just theater of the lowest rung of the elites. At the highest levels, these kids are put through trauma that the focus to get them in so that they understand bloodlines. They're given the real knowledge, the real important knowledge. And they're all put through it, dude. So at the end, by the time they're 18, they're completely traumatized psychopaths. And
so do you think that's what Barron Trump is in the process of?
I mean, I still don't. I like Trump is not even close to the highest levels of the rings of power. Like he's not. Those people don't run for office. They don't need to be in office. Point. Right. They're in power. The people in office do their bidding. So Trump isn't even that guy. And like, I'd love to see if Trump could somehow try to take, because at some point, all these guys who are installed in the power, they have their Pinocchio moment where they're like, I'm a real boy, right? And they become like, I'm a real dick. I'm actually could run shit. And that's when it gets really interesting. And so we'll see what happens because he is, I mean, we all loved Obama, but it was by default. I feel like when he first came in, you might not be. You were old enough to remember when Obama got elected, but I don't know if you were really into the whole like voting for him and stuff like that. But
no, I did not vote for him. No.
Yeah,
but I didn't vote. I didn't vote for fucking McCain or Bush or whoever it was.
Which is my whole theory of like, there's something about the Donald Trump, Kamala Harris election that reminds me very much of the Obama McCain like election in that they put up the worst possible candidate to funnel everybody to the other side. Because if you kind of study when Obama was coming in, who did America hate? Old white warmongers. We hated them. And who do you run against? This charismatic, black, closeted gay man, right? Who do you run? An
crotchety
old
John McCain.
Yes, which runs everybody to Obama.
Yeah, that's
Same
true.
thing with Trump. Like, who does America hate? Tranny-loving Marxists. Who do you run? Chick who wants to give guys on death row for murdering people, want to give them sex changes. It's the perfect bad guy to Trump.
Well, every time I do the what's it called, of the unknown? I'm blanking on the first word.
No, the Union of the Unwanted?
Yeah.
Union of the
you come
Unwanted. In, you just get fucking heavy fire. I'm like, Clinton's
dude,
never going to talk to us again.
No, I keep coming back and keep getting yelled at, but I understand.
You're a sadist. That's why you just like the pain.
No, I just genuinely think that my analysis is better, but that's it. We all have egos about this stuff, But I think that's what's most frustrating is when I'm getting pilloried by the folks on there is that like they think that I'm like all of a sudden in Trump's bag. Like I fucking love this guy. He's our hero. It's like, no, dude. That's not what I'm saying. It's that I'm saying that Kamala Harris, if she was to actually have won, would have been such a devastating blow to the concept of like human freedom and speech and avoiding war and everything else that it's like this is just preferable. That's my entire argument. I'm not saying he's a fucking hero. I'm not saying he's going to fix shit. And I stand by that. I think that he gives us like he represents, even if it's not him that's running shit, he represents the better instincts of the American people than she did. And if she wins, given what she represents, we're in a lot of fucking trouble. That's really how I feel about it. And we'll see if I'm right.
She would be the Kardashian of the White House. She would just go around, take pictures, get free shit, bang rappers, and that would be it. That would be it. She wouldn't do any. She would be the illusion of government would be gone. Blinken, who I think has been running shit,
I
agree. Right? Obama, Blinken running shit would be still in charge, and with the illusion of that the presidency is important would be dead. It would be completely and utterly dead, and the barbarians, just like the end of Rome, would be in charge. The barbarians would be in charge. In this case, it would be the Zionists. The Zionist Marxists would be in charge.
This is how I feel about basically this lame duck session after Kamala lost. Is like 2 months for those that are watching this. Today is Wednesday, and they are pushing a CR, continuing resolution, to fund the federal government again. And it's like they did that. They authorized ATACMS. They authorized HIMARS. They authorized additional strikes. They undoubtedly authorized that assassination, even if it was done by Ukrainian paramilitary groups, it still was authorized by the CIA. Of course it was. They've done all of that in a lame duck session without congressional authorization, without a fucking president that's even present. Like he has no idea what's going on. Like I hope that, and I'm sure most people in my audience are paying attention to this, but I think the average person is not really considering what this means. What this means is that you can't really vote for someone to run this insane ship. Like this is an unelected bureaucracy that really makes these decisions. And we're talking about cataclysmic, like world history altering decisions. Do you strike inside the heart of Russia? Like they're doing that without congressional authorization. It's fucking nuts.
They will never get the credit that they deserve. And I will say this, and people get Iran and Russia have shown amazing restraint in not to go into full blown war. And it is only because of them. And we have to get to the point where we realize that the military industrial complex is not the US of A. It's not America. It is a parasite. It is basically, in my humble opinion, again, the black nobility, the Bank of England. That is who's running that's who's hijacked our military and turned us into stormtroopers. And that's why nobody's joining the military, because the illusion of defending democracy is dead. It's never been real. We've been murking brown people for banks and corporations for centuries now. And under the illusion of democracy, that illusion is dead. And that's why that's why they keep telling you, yeah, nobody joined the military because everybody's too fat. No, nobody's joined the military because nobody wants to murk brown people that have done nothing to anybody. Nobody wants to go over there and get maimed and be crippled for the rest of their life and then have to beg the U.S. government for fucking aid to fucking help them live their lives. That's why. That's why it's dead.
And you know the reason that they're probably too fat is that they've realized that like all of the beliefs that they were taught as children were all based off of lies, and now they're depressed, so they go and they line up at the buffet. Like that's people underplay how hard that is for people to have the entire veneer of what made your country special come crumbling down. I've struggled with it myself, my weight too, but I mean more just the realization of like how different what I thought this country was, what it is. Like it has hurt me to a certain extent. Do you guys feel the same from what you felt as kids?
Me, I kind of feel dead inside to the idea of it.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you feel different than when you were a child.
No,
Jesus.
but you have to because I don't know, people call me Puerto Rican or whatever, and I'm like, I look
Fucking
at Puerto
Puerto
Rico and I
Rican.
go, that's not me. And I associate more with America, but then I look at America and I go also like, nah, that's not me either. So I'm just like a guy without a home, which is kind of sad. It's nice to have this patrioticness about you, and I'd like that back. But that veneer has long been replaced with not nihilism, but like, well, that ain't it. So I don't know. I mean,
I'm politically atheist. I'm a I'm not into nihilism except for when it comes to politics. I don't trust any of these guys, and I'll hold
Same.
Trump's feet to the fire the whole time. I am rooting for him. I think
Yeah, me too.
RFK Jr. might be a way bigger thing than we think. Getting these chemicals that are making us fat, which is a whole part of their game, which is to make us so dumb and fat and unhealthy and distracted that we can't see how our government operates, which is this Federal Reserve is funding everything wrong in the world. It's funding all of it all over the world. These Syrians that are these ISIS in Syria, they're funded by the Federal Reserve. All of it is Babylonian money magic to bribe people to commit atrocities around the world. And they don't want you to see that, so they make you dumb, unhealthy, and distracted, so you don't know how the government works. And when we watch, and that's when I decided to come out of the closet.
Damn
I
it,
said,
dude. I missed it. I missed the whole thing.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Too
It
little,
was
too
great.
late.
I gotta go, guys. Thank you. No, but that is where we're at right now. Is that they don't know when you watch these street videos and they can't tell you how the government works. That is done on purpose. They don't want you to go. None of this has to happen if we get rid of this one institution.
Well, I think the other thing that people need to really like grapple with is that even if you understand how the system is supposed to work, you still don't understand how the system actually works. You can watch Schoolhouse Rock. That doesn't mean you know what the fuck's going on with how our federal government funds itself and all this other shit. Like all of the rules that we thought was how things were supposed to function. Like the federal government wasn't supposed to be going and backdooring communication, all of our communication devices to spy on everything that we say and think. Like that was supposed to be illegal. They do it every day. They've been doing it for every day for fucking decades now. No one seems to care. Al-Qaeda, who, setting aside the conspiracy theories, was allegedly the organization responsible for attacking us on 9/11. We now fund them in toppling Bashar al-Assad, who's a clean-shaven guy who used to have Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie sitting down for dinner with him just 15 years ago. And now we're replacing him with actual Al-Qaeda members. What?
Are we though? It's a
Yes.
good point. I kind of wanted to interject. No, because it kind of goes to Ukraine, right? When the thing it was like popping off in Ukraine, and we're going to a nuclear war for sure. Like with the long range missiles in Ukraine and United States people arming or at least advising, or people from the UK advising. And then all of a sudden we kind of switch over to, oh, look, Syria fell out of nowhere. Like Syria fell, Bashar al-Assad has to now flee to Russia, and Russia's too busy fighting our other proxy war to do anything about it. Now, ISIS military or Al-Qaeda takes over there, but the story really is that Israel creates a buffer zone, right? And takes Damascus and the Golan Heights, and they're just expanding their territory. So again, my anti-Semitic brain, every time I look, I'm like, oh, this seems to benefit Israel. Like we're doing all of these things, and what happened here is Israel expanded.
You think they're in trouble? Because they are not acting as if they're in trouble. They're acting as if they can.
Because they have to.
It looks like they're crushing right now.
No,
Yeah.
I think they're losing the Jews. I think Israel is losing the Jews. I think they've done studies. Half of the Jews in Canada don't identify as a Zionist. Okay. I had Robbie the Fire Bernstein on. Literally disgusted. He's Jewish, disgusted by what Israel's doing. The facade's done. Netanyahu's done great damage to Israel, to the Jewish community. Anti-Semitism is dead. Nobody, that word means nothing. People are celebrating being called anti-Semitism, and I think they're in trouble. And we're
Candace Owens gave a thank you speech for winning the Anti-Semite of the Year award. I mean, it's
not to I'm not trying to shit on him, but you just see the way that Tim Pool and his association with the Daily Wire has been received. You know, make of that what you will, but the way it's been received
did you
online.
Read the show notes?
No.
Because that's where we were going.
Oh, really? Look at that. I'm kind of good at this. No, I mean, just the way that, and you can make of that whatever you will, but the way that it's received by the culture at large on Twitter is, you know, I think it's indicative of a much greater sentiment.
I get it from Tim's area. It's money in pocket, but it's done. I think, and I know he's your friend, so I'm going to respect that. And because I hate when people tee off on my friends, but I get it from a business point of view. That's fat cash. And the Daily Wire is in deep shit. They're trying to grab any brand that it's basically what Facebook does. When Facebook is hurting, they go out and buy a new brand so everybody talks about it, and then the brand dies. And they're in trouble. They're in trouble, dude.
I don't know. I don't know, because I watched a stream where Tim was talking about the firing of that one chick from the Daily Wire and how she was replaced by Brett Cooper. And he was going through like all of their, I guess, public reports as to their income. Sounds like they're raking it in, dude. Like they had like 1 million plus subscribers at $10 a month or whatever. I mean, that's a shit ton of money.
I'm with you, bro, but I'm telling you, the brand. Like, go look at any Ben Shapiro's tweets. He gets ratioed into the dark realms.
Yeah.
His brand.
I agree
dead.
with that. Yeah. I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, I think in terms of revenue, they're crushing. I think you're right. They are losing the narrative battle. Like, to me, that's quite evident.
I mean, that doesn't I'm not going to say what you're saying is wrong. You're 1 million people subscribe to $10. Who are those 1 million people? Are they real? Like, it's a great way to money when you're Babylonians. Like, dude, this whole thing with OnlyFans models, this chick's making $43 million a year. They find one guy gave her $4 million. Who's that one guy? Why is he giving her $4 million? Why would you spend $4 million on 3 holes? Why would you do that? When you go to Miami and find chicks, I would stab. You could find chicks. You would stab that chick to drink their bathwater. Okay, it's all a facade to get women to think there's $40 million in this if you show everybody your pepperoni nipples. Okay,
and like on the topic of the Daily Wire too, it's like is income indicative of longevity? You know what I mean? Like, I would like to see a graph that's representative of them over the past, let's say, like 3 years. Have they plateaued or not? They might have reached a critical mass as far as income goes, but have they plateaued, and are they on a downswing? That's really what I'd be interested in.
No, that is obviously the most telling actual statistics. And for the record, feel free to talk shit on Tim for selling if he does. Hold on. Let me just say, we don't know. Like, that's the report right now, is that he is selling the Timcast operation to Daily Wire. That's a report. He came out and did kind of a joking post about it today. So I don't know exactly what's happening.
Israeli flag.
Yeah, well, he posted that, and then he also posted saying, yes, the reports are true. We're going to be buying additional chickens for Chicken City. You know, he's having fun with it.
Around.
Yeah, he's having fun with it. Don't go there. Anyways, so I don't know what to believe, but I will say this. I think that, and this, you know, he may not like me saying this. I don't care. I think it's the truth. I think that what made Timcast IRL in particular very special is that he was willing to have on people with genuine dissident opinions, people that like really don't get platformed elsewhere very often, and certainly not to that size of an audience. And it helped his show grow a lot, but it also helped a whole lot of dissident, you know, opinions, including myself, become somewhat well known. So I don't believe that practice will continue if in fact he is acquired from the Daily Wire. And for that reason, I think it is probably a detriment to the broader, you know, free speech, open dialogue, open debate kind of moment that we were living in. But I also have to say, as a personal friend of mine, I'm thrilled to see my buddy load up the Brinks truck. He's about to, you know, get married and have a kid, and that makes me feel fucking great. So I'm very conflicted.
No, I'm with you, dude.
Yeah, I get it.
He's selling at the top, right? Like I would do the same
seems
thing
like
if I
it.
was Tim as well. Like, in my opinion, watching the show,
especially if you're losing control of it, right, Top? I mean, if you're losing control of this thing and it's no longer doing what you want it to do, but it does have all of this value, then maybe there's something to be said about that.
He's lost the culture as well, or he's never really understood it. In my opinion, I don't know. It baffles me how he got an audience so big, being as clueless as he is. And I kind of like Tim. I respect his business acumen, but it's true. It's true. And then he surrounds himself with, like, I don't know, Phil Labonte from some band, and it's like, this is a subpar show. And what makes it
just
good
gonna
is the guest-
he's gonna blast all of my friends. Keep going.
See,
Keep
that's what
going.
happened.
Hey,
That's
listen.
what Clint was like, it's okay, you can say whatever you want. Top was
No,
like,
fuck
all
Phil
right.
Labonte. Because I had short piece of shit. Because I had Dave Smith on the show when we did.
Yeah.
When you were on, Clint.
Oh, that's
And
right.
And he's like, "Oh, so you're just gonna go ahead and do a C show?" I was like,
Yeah, he
"You
was
are
like,
on
he's
a
like,
C
why are you
show-
slumming it with these dudes or whatever?
Yeah, in other words,
You're on a
he's
C show
dissuading
every day, Phil Labonte.
Yeah.
Okay, and you make it worse. Listen, if Tim was smart, he'd surround himself with people like Clint Russell, who's a guy that's an uprising star, which he had a chance to, and then he dropped that ball. The same way he dropped the ball with Kanye. He's not to be trusted with the culture, and selling out at the top is great, good for you, but
Yes.
you're not moving culture, period. You never had the ability to. Daily Wire doesn't move culture either. They make a couple of movies that are whatever. I mean, listen, let these things die off, and they are going to die off. We need people moving culture that are actually moving it. Sam moves culture, and I hope we get to see him do more of
tired.
that.
I'm tired of doing it. He's been carrying it on his back.
No,
for
here's
so
the whole
long.
thing. If I'm Tim, I might be reading the tea leaves. I might be knowing, and it's like sell at the top, because maybe he's tired of doing it. Maybe it's like, okay, I'll let these guys run everything, and if it goes to shit, I'm out. I already cashed out.
I know for a fact Tim loves doing what he does. He hates the management side of it, just as all creatives do. So that it makes perfect sense that he would want to sell that off, get a fucking back. And by the way, I think if this story is true, there's a decent chance he walks away with fucking 9 figures, 100 million plus
That's
fucking dollars. So I genuinely am friends with this guy. So for me, that's awesome.
Think about this too.
about
As creators, imagine how much it would suck to, because you know how you kind of like, sometimes you get in a groove, you want to do something different. You've been doing the same thing for years and years, but this thing is so huge you can't detach from it to go and do something different. So you know,
when
maybe
you
he
do-
sidesteps. He takes 9 figures and he goes and does something more unhinged and culturally relevant.
Good for him. I don't think he has the ability to do anything culturally relevant, but he's going to. I mean, listen, I would get tired if anytime one of my guests came on and said something, I had to yell at them. Okay, when you say something anti-Trump, if you say something about Israel, and I have to yell at you so that way my Israeli handler doesn't get mad or whatever's going on.
Right.
That's wild. This is my gripe against him. I don't appreciate that.
There are definitely, topics that really do damage if you aren't willing to discuss them. And Israel is one of them.
Well, and on the flip though, if you do discuss it, it also does damage.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it's a-
don't.
it's a
I don't
tightrope-
think to the
tightrope.
number. I don't think it's even close to what it used to be. I
Of
think,
course, but I'm just saying, like, I think personally, because I've been on the show, I've been one of the people bringing up Israel and being shouted down by Tim Pool. So, like, I know this personally. I am of the opinion that the terms of service on YouTube is that you have to basically contend with anything that might be cancelable or strikeable, and if you do, well, then it won't be struck. Like, that's all the host has to do. So I think, like, what Top is describing is, like, he is basically performatively saying, I'm not so sure about that. And then it's like, all right, you're good.
I get it.
No strikes coming. So
I get
There's
it.
a difference between saying I'm not so sure about it and then
And
yelling
screaming
at
it.
your guest. Have you ever
Yeah,
yelled at
dude.
a guest, Sam?
yeah, I don't do that often.
I think I yelled at Mark one time. That was
He
about
deserved it.
it.
It's reasonable.
The Booker. That's about it.
understandable.
But it's just listen. What YouTube is doing, and what YouTube is just going to become a kids platform. I think.
Yeah.
That's where it's going, because YouTube, their terms of service does not fit where the zeitgeist of this country is, which is we can discuss science, we can discuss foreign countries and their involvement in America, and they're just going to lose everybody. And that's why, regardless of whatever you think about Twitter and what Elon Musk represents, and you're probably right about it, okay, it is going to go like they're going to lose their plot and they're going to lose their real estate. It's just going to happen. And you've seen YouTube deal with YouTube. Listen, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but all Google's been doing lately this last week is bragging about their shit. They're like, oh, dude, our quantum computer solved a problem that would take normally 10 billion years. How do you know the answer? How do you know the answer to this question if it would take 10 billion years? Because we haven't been around for 10 billion years. So you should know the answer, because you're lying. And now they got this AI thing. Oh, look at this AI. You got all these fucking zombie bots like, oh, Google AI just destroyed everybody's AI. You're lying. You're hemorrhaging.
Great marketing.
Let me give one more, and I think really compelling argument as to why Tim Pool ought to sell. The mainstream corporate media is dying. It's basically dead.
Yeah.
So you're going to see major moves to acquire and control and own and undermine independent media, because that's where the fucking money is. That's where the audience is. So I think that's the main reason that he's selling now, is because this is the high watermark. Like, this is when the big bucks are coming in. Maybe it'll even get crazier. But turning down 9 figures, most people don't do that.
They pressed them, right? They pressed them with the Russia thing too. So
Honestly,
Bingo.
I
I
think it's incredible
think
because
it's the death of a brand.
yeah. Well, like I said, for argument's sake, what if he does sell off, backs up, and realizes that we're moving into this era that Clint just described, which I agree with. I do think that we're going into this attention economy in a much bigger degree than it has ever been seen before. If he sells this old husk of a thing that's no longer moving culture, steps back, and then does something new in this new era, he could feasibly crush.
But he's not able to do something new. Like, the whole value, or not the whole, but a huge portion of the value is that he's going to have to continue to do that show. Like,
Ooh, okay. All right.
I assure you, he is not selling Timcast and then retiring.
I misunderstood that.
like
I thought
Michael
that
Now
Jordan
you got
in
a
Space
job, dude. Now you
Yep.
got a job.
Now you work for the man. Honestly, in hindsight, this whole thing, I made a post the other day. It was just the clip of him fumbling the Kanye West bag in contrast to this new revelation. And it kind of makes you wonder how long ago was the Kanye West fumble? And it was like, you looked at that
2
situation,
years?
it was like, damn, dude, who would fumble the bag that bad? How long? 2 years?
I think, give or take.
So what I'm wondering is, he's always been close with Ben Shapiro to some degree. How long has this talk been happening? And was he protecting this sort of a thing even way back then, when he's looking into the future, wondering, well, I don't know if this is going to be good for what I might do given my relationship with Ben Shapiro.
I'm not going to pretend to know on that front. I just think it's very easy for people who are fans of the stuff that we do to say, like, sell out, fuck you, but like, if you get offered 8 figures, and you say no, well, then you can say fuck you to Tim Pool. And if you get offered 9 figures and you say no, then you can definitely say fuck you to Tim Pool. But I don't think almost any of you would actually say no. Now, I'm the type of person that probably would say no, but I'm also a total fucking weirdo and a freak. I don't think most people are like me, so I'm not going to hold them to that standard. I just think people are kind of like purity spiraling on this, and I don't know. That's my two cents.
No, dude. And like, listen, I'm very, I have a great relationship with Joe Rogan. I'm very sensitive to a lot of things said about him because he's done so much for me, and he's a friend, and I'm old school where like you defend your friends, right? And I always say at the center of all that is a human being. He is a human being. And he has his strengths, his weaknesses, his faults, his things that he's super kind about, how he super helps people, does stuff that people like, what the fuck was that? And, because he's a human being. So I respect you, dude, on allowing people to go after someone you probably care about. Even people on your own show. I do respect that because I may not have that in me. I'm very sensitive to that. I don't like when people go after. Maybe that's a shortcoming of mine that maybe I should work on.
No, these are all my friends. So like, and I understand that I have a lot of friends, and there's going to be some beef between them. But I still like my highest priority is free speech, open dialogue. Like, let's have a conversation about this. Top has not liked Tim Pool for a very long time. That's
it's
okay.
Not that. It's I see a guy with like such great opportunity, and I feel like they claim to move culture towards the right. And honestly, the only reason I'm here sitting in front of you with the microphone now is because I have kids, and I want to change. I started drawing in this space to create conversations that will help change the world in a way that I want to see. So when I see people who are claiming to do that but aren't doing that, I'm critical of them, and I get a little bit upset. Also, when we went to his compound, I went there, he was kind of a douche the whole time. That's on him. Maybe he had a bad day. Whatever. But I do respect and I love what he does. I
love you guys. You're such nihilists. It's so great. You guys really are such fucking nihilists. It's such a wonderful thing to see. And yeah, man, I love the way you guys operate, the way you guys do. And you guys do. I believe people like you guys on the Tower Gang and on the Nephilim Death Squad, you guys do push culture. You take a lot of the arrows, and what you show people is that you can do this, and there's really nothing they could do. There's really nothing they could do, and maybe Owen Benjamin's fault was that he did it too early, and it was a different time. And now,
that's how you know. That's how you know you're really changing the culture is when you do it too early. It takes someone. Yeah. Someone's got to run into those arrows.
Yeah.
It really hurts people.
And that's what it is. Like I stayed in LA and I talk mad shit, and it does have ripple effects. I know that I am not necessarily viewed the same way at the Comedy Store by some of the young people as I used to be. I used to be a comic, and now they think I'm, I've been approached by friends going, "You're doing too many N-word jokes on Twitter," and I go, "Why? What's the problem?" And
you're like, "What are you, my fucking mother? Why are you even talking to me about my tweets?"
And it's like it's interesting because this person has dated a lot of black guys and gotten a shit kicked out of her, and she's worried about me doing N-word jokes when I'm just calling myself the N-word. I can't
believe you would talk about Whitney Cummings dating.
Dude, you did it. You beat me to it. You're beautiful. That was great. Bravo.
No, but I don't think Whitney is that sensitive about that stuff. I mean, she is on this conspiracy kick. And
isn't that interesting Whitney, to see, Sam? To see her kind of coming around and now talking about conspiracies, and especially for somebody like you who, in that particular space, have always been consistently talking about conspiracies.
It is interesting to me, because I go, is this authentic, or is this because I think she's a Finbot type? She's like an android, right? Like she is constantly crushing data. She's a data. She consumes data. And is it that she's feeling this, or is she reading the data that says this is where everybody's going? And I love Whitney, so I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. She, by her own admissions, has been on the wrong side of a lot of the cultural movement. She wanted me she's asked me in the past to write on these OnlyFans roasts, and I told her I don't want to be on a pornography show anymore. I used to do a naughty show. I'd interview adult film stars all the time, but it was from a different kind of point of view. It was like, oh my God, you guys are fucking nuts. Instead of like, oh, dude, tell me what you think. Oh, you're the queen of the DPs. What do you think about Trump and politics now? It's not like, it's like, because I look at porn stars like outlaws, like they're outlaws. That's an outlaw lifestyle. And these people are trying to mainstream it. And once again, Whitney is on that side of that. And I think she's on the wrong side of it. Now, she does have a kid now, she does have a kid now. We used to make jokes, and by me, about what's the over and under until that kid's trans, right? But I think it has changed her genuinely, and I root for her, and that's why I always will give people a chance to change their mind and realize where they made mistakes. I had Tara Patrick hit me up because I put out this thing about that mom-daughter who are doing OnlyFans together, and they say it's a stepmom and a stepdaughter. I don't know. There was a time where it'd be like, oh, that's wild. Now I'm like, that makes me really sad because I understand. And like full disclosure, I am in full battle against the pornography demons. It's the last of my vices that I fight really bad. So I make no illusions that there couldn't be seen as some sort of hypocrisy with that. But it is low vibrational. So like when she asked me to write on it, I went one day and I'm like, I don't want to be on this roast because I don't want to be on OnlyFans. I just don't. Right. And because I think it should be only left for the outlaws. Pornography should be like a last resort. Like you are a crippling drug addict. You had unforgivable. Not unforgivable, but like crippling trauma in your childhood, and you're just trying to function, and that's why you do that stuff. It's not enlightening. It's not freeing. It's not feminism. It's the last resort.
It's not empowerment. That's for fucking sure. Yeah. And I know a lot of people will perceive, Tim selling to Daily Wire is essentially doing that too. I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I'm just saying, he's a friend. He's about to have a kid in a couple months. It's awesome to see a friend get crazy rich and to get some of his freedom back. That's all.
On the topic of Whitney,
I don't think is he getting freedom back, or is he getting? I think he's just taking it back for less freedom.
Right, if he's going to have to keep working and
I mean, time freedom, not freedom.
He's changing his shackles. He's getting something slightly different.
He's getting shinier ones.
We all do that. Like content creators, you don't want a 9-to-5. Well, okay, come a content creator. Now you got a 24/7.
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. But on the topic of Whitney Cummings, I do think that it is genuine, but it's more indicative of like Clint was just saying that this legacy media is dying, right? We've been watching it dying. We're probably in like the death throes right now. It's going to fully go away soon. I think this is probably going to be like the last moments of it. But part of the reason is because everybody's so disenchanted with it. And we've gotten to such a strange place, especially after 2020 and the lockdowns and such, that people are more open to conspiracies. It's easy to put them to the side until they affect you, until you have to stay 6 feet away from your loved ones and you can't see them die in the hospital. And so I think that the conversation just takes a while to make it to the general public. When I see a Whitney Cummings having these conversations, she is very intelligent. And I'm not saying at all that she's shifting because it's what's popular now. I think she's shifting because it's in everybody's awareness. Culturally speaking, conspiracy theories, even that terminology doesn't have the sting that it used to have.
Dude, the Overton window went from like, I don't even know, like fucking Jon Stewart Daily Show. And then it's like the Overton window center now is like almost Alex Jones. Just because of what we've lived through. So like, yeah, you could say some wild shit to me and I'm like, I'm listening. Whereas in 2019, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, Top. I'm not listening to your nonsense. Now I'm like,
can't confirm.
Yeah.
Now it's like, let them cook, let them cook. So when I see that, I don't think, but I do think what that should tell people is to listen to, like if Owen Benjamin did it so long ago that was what caused his ostracization from society at large, then maybe look over to him. If Sam Tripoli's been saying these things for all these years on Tinfoil Hat, and now all of a sudden you hear Whitney Cummings, I'm not saying don't absorb her content, but do turn on Tinfoil Hat. You know what? It's time for, I think, these people, even Clint, so much of what Liberty Lockdown was sprung up because of the lockdowns. It's time to stop listening to these people who are adopting the narrative that conspiracy theorists have been utilizing for all these years and go to the source. And I'm not saying anybody here is the source for the truth, but it's like the things that
we're closer to it, though. It's obvious that we're closer to it, because like you could look at my track record, dude. Like, unfortunately, during the censorship era, I had to auto delete my tweets every month because I would have got suspended and banned. So
I lost mine.
Yeah,
I lost my Instagram. I lost my Twitter.
And I got suspended. I didn't get banned like Sam did. But during 2020 and 21, I auto deleted everything, so you can't look at my track record. You can still listen to my show. I was fucking right about all this shit. I knew it was going to last a lot longer. I knew everything was inefficacious. I knew it was just bullshit. I knew about the lab. I knew like all of it. I knew early. You can do the same thing. Watch my debate with Destiny. Watch me fucking a year and a half ago in Tennessee. I'm telling you, this war is not going to end, and it's not going to be won. Okay? And we're going to see hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians die unnecessarily. And he stands there and he says, I don't think so. I think that as long as we do we can fucking end this thing, send Putin packing, blah, 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 no nukes, no nothing. It's like, these people are fucking pathologically wrong. Okay? So if you're still listening to them, you're the problem. You need to fucking I'm not saying you have to listen to me. Listen to somebody else, though. Don't listen to these people that are wrong every year.
It's interesting, too, because Destiny still has, obviously, a terrible reputation, but he still has this pull, this draw. He's still this guy. I don't know if he's making money, but I imagine that he is. I almost do feel like when you reach a certain level of content creation, a certain level of popularity, you can misstep, magnificently and still go on to have a career. I don't know that anybody actually gets canceled in the sense of no longer being a draw. I mean, even the guy, Dr. Disrespect or whatever reason, dude is fighting, pedo allegations, just gets signed by Rumble. And I'm not, make of that what you will. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't follow the case. But it just strikes me that, like, you really can't. So on the conversation of Tim, I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah. Well,
in hindsight, through this lens of, like, people that seemingly cannot be removed from the conversation ever, I don't think he's going to be either.
Yeah. Well, I don't think so either, but it could diminish his reach to new people, because I don't think that Shapiro has the same influence on new, political kind of novices.
It could be Howard Stern. Like Howard Stern was, and we can get into what Howard Stern actually represented. Was he ever an outlaw, or was he controlled op with his Marxist fist as his logo, pushing this crazy stuff that I fully consumed? Like, there was a time I wanted to be a Howard Stern type. Yeah. I thought that's what it was about. I bought into, like, rock and roll, sex, drugs, rock and roll, to the point it destroyed my life. And now I realize on the other side of it that was actually not good for me spiritually. And he was a big part of that. Why he was allowed to flourish and Opie and Anthony were just banned to the dark realms. Right. Why is that? And
well, as a kid, I thought Howard Stern was like fucking punk rock. I can't tell you, and then to have him be the guy who's saying, like, stay the fuck away from me. Why are you not wearing your mask? I want you all to be put in prison for the rest of your lives. Like, this dude, I mean, he's such a fucking fraud from the guy I thought he was. And, but in fairness,
he's the talk show embodiment of Rage Against the Machine.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
100%. And, like, my whole thing has always been, because I saw this happen with George Carlin towards the end when he's in his late 70s. They're like, he lost his edge. I'm like, he's 78. He's not. It's not his job to lead. But, like, what Howard Stern has done is, like, as 180 as you could possibly get.
It's nuts.
For all the cash and prizes. Now, when it came to COVID, I wasn't surprised. I was blessed. I was on Stern twice. And, making Howard Stern laugh is easily one of my favorite things I've ever done in my life, because at the time it was so insane to me. But he was a germaphobe. Him, Howie Mandel, they're germaphobes. So the reaction to COVID is totally in line how they've always been their whole life. So I wasn't shocked by his reaction to it. But his reaction to interviewing, Joe Biden, the way he interviewed, I mean, and Anthony Jeselnik again going off on Rogan for his interview on with Trump. What about the interview of Howard Stern with Joe Biden? That's your guy on your side. and it couldn't been a more fluffy romper room type interview. I mean, like, where did he interview him on? Sesame Street? Like, it's just like, was this interview brought by, D for the deep state? Like, it's like crazy to me. He said, no, like, it really was an interview of himself. He asked a question and answered the questions for Joe Biden because he was such, as I believe, presented as shish kebab brains for a reason to demoralize.
Dana Carvey.
Yeah, I'm
Interesting.
just
Dana Carvey in a rubber mask. It's funny, Clint, because you said that Howard Stern was like punk rock, right? And punk rock has always been sort of against the status quo. So when we were younger, it was like anti-corporate, anti-big government, establishment, all that kind of shit. And
anti-war to a certain extent.
Anti-war, yeah, absolutely. And it's evolved over time. If we're to take the true sense of what punk rock is at its core, which is anti-establishment, I saw some punk rock group come out recently and say that punk rock is gay. It's always been gay. And I said, no, it was only gay when being gay was against the status quo. But now that corporatocracy and government bodies have adopted homosexuality and they're flying the LGBTQ flag, it's no longer indicative, or it's no longer representative of.
It's not raging against the machine.
You're not raging against
with the machine. You put up the fucking rainbow flag. You are the machine, brother. I don't know if you figured it out yet, but come on.
Exactly. And now what's happening is you have to say, well, where does punk rock and its allegiance lie now, or where should it, if it's truly against the status quo? And it should be in alignment with people who are healthy, functioning members of society, who aren't cutting their kids' dicks off, who are contributing in some way, shape, or form, who are raising families. Like, that is kind of punk rock.
That
now.
is
and I don't
punk.
know.
And because so few people are having kids, man. Yeah,
Yes.
I honestly think that punk rock is like
so sad.
being a Christian father.
Right. But do you know what that's going to lead to,
rock.
dude? We have what's on the horizon, I believe, is some form of like Christian nationalism. I don't know how large it's going to get. And I'm not really a fan of it because I think that it isn't really indicative of what Christianity is at its core or having a relationship with Christ. It's more of this like weaponizing Christianity to fight back against all the debauchery that we've seen previously. And so
it's authoritarian Christianity.
Anybody
as
a
opposed
part
to
of any organization is not punk rock.
Correct.
Rock is as indie as possible.
Yep.
Right? It's not like I'm on nobody's team. I'm in nobody. I just focus on my family, farm, all that stuff. Like that's going to be the punk rock.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Top is
homeschooling, homesteading.
Exactly. Yeah. You look at Top. Top is homeschooling his kids. He's got his parents on his property. He's got all this property. He's he's got chickens and everything. Like, that is, that's punk rock. It's just weird to say because we've been associating punk rock with like an image and a music.
Yeah, because punk rock back then was like, it's just 180 degrees from what it is today. Like it's, and honestly though, I think that's good because what is punk rock but the rebellion against the normalcy, and like, well, that is also the battle for the cultural framework of the next decade or the next 20, 30 years. So the fact that like the punk scene is healthy is good means that probably if we don't all die in nuclear war, which you guys say isn't real, and thank God,
big bombs, dude.
then 10, 20, 30 years from now, that becomes the norm again. We'll see. I don't know. Anyways, Tripoli, I've kept you a little bit longer than I had expected. You got to go soon?
Yeah, I got a jam. Dude, I just love everything you guys are doing. I'm super proud of all of you for whatever that's worth. It's very cool to see. I love all these great podcasts coming up, like, the Tower Gang, who I love going on your guys' show. All you guys, like War Mode was just on, Alex Jones. Like, that's great to see. Like they can't silence all of us, and it seems like we're entering a much better place. But always be guardedly optimistic, whichever way you want to say it, because you just never know when it's going to turn. You just can't accept that anybody in a position of power is going to be a good guy, because most people I know, most of the old school liberals, okay, they don't want power. They just want to be left the fuck alone. So anybody seeking power is questionable. So I appreciate you having me on. A couple things. To the bazillions of people who watch this show, I would like you guys to know that I'm going to be in Spokane, Washington on January 9th with Eddie Bravo and Xavier Guerrero. I have a new comic book coming out. It's called The Chaos Twins. It's episode 2. That's coming out. I would love to have you guys go to The Chaos Twins or chaostwins.com and check that out. And all my specials are available. My specials, Why Is Everybody Getting Quiet? No Lives Matter, and then Armageddon and Zero Fucks. Go check those out. I put them up against anybody's special, so I would love for people to see them because I was watching my other one. I was like, damn, dude, this is a lot better than I remembered. So I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll let you go. Thank you for
Bye,
joining
guys.
us.
All right,
Sam.
talk the whole time. Bye.
Bye, Sam.
We'll close out here shortly, guys, but yeah, I just wanted to say I fucking love Tripoli. He's hopefully he's still in the background so you can hear me say this. He's so supportive. He doesn't have to be, but I think he just sees in us what he saw in himself, 10, 15, 20 years ago, whatever it is. And he wants to...
A lot of drugs.
Tons of drugs and debauchery, rampant masturbation.
Porn addiction and drug use. No, we don't do any of that. Get out of here.
No. You know what they say, and I think there's a lot of validity to it. It's like, don't meet your heroes, right? Because so many people aren't what they
Not true.
they present
it's
as.
not true if you have good heroes.
Well, Tripoli comes off as like one of the most genuine, well-meaning, warm and friendly dudes on the podcast. Exactly the same in real life. Every time I've met him, it's never weird. I'm like going out and meeting one of my heroes, and he feels like, an old homie. Really, really great guy.
Exact same. Yeah. And my other heroes were fucking Ron Paul and Dave Smith. They're fucking
Terrible.
saints.
Oh
no, they're so awesome in person. They're just like Tripoli. So, anyways, yeah, I think as long as you got good heroes. If you got good heroes, then it's you're in the clear to meet them. If you're worshiping bad people, stay the fuck away. But anyways, I appreciate you guys joining me. Go ahead and tell people where they can follow your work and everything else.
Go ahead, Top.
You can follow me at Top Lobster on Twitter, everywhere. That's Top Lobster with an A. I do Tower Gang. We're doing Tower Gang tonight. I don't know when this episode drops. Every Wednesday, 9/11, and I'll leave the rest of the plugs to David. Go ahead.
You can find me at David L. Corbo, all one word, on Twitter, on X. And you can find Nephilim Death Squad everywhere where you find your podcast, any audio platform, and any video platform, Rumble and YouTube. Although there are a lot of episodes that don't hit YouTube, so if you want to see some that are maybe a little bit too spicy for YouTube, head on over to Rumble. Otherwise, catch me on Timeline Cleanse. Only airs on Rumble, and that's for a good reason. You can watch that 5 days a week in the morning.
That show would not last on this platform. I can promise you that.
No, we almost lost the entire channel because of it one time. So definitely not for YouTube. But yeah, you can find me there.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please do hit the like button, subscribe, share it around. And I am also going to be working on getting a separate RSS feed to relinquish you of my Spreaker advertising issues, because I know some of you don't like them. I don't run nearly as many ads as Top does, so you should be nicer to me, but you're not going to be. So I'm going to give you a subscription-based option to get an RSS feed without any ads. That should be ready in January. I've got a really big thing that may or may not be happening effective in January too. I can't in January as well. I can't give you any details on it, so I apologize, but I will have clarity here soon. So thank you for bearing with me. It is really exciting one way or the other, and we'll figure it out soon. But yeah, tune into Tower Gang. Actually, don't. If you like Liberty Lockdown, you probably will hate Tower Gang, and it'll make you think less of me, so don't watch it. But if you like really fucked up comedy, if you're a fan of Tripoli, you'd probably really enjoy Tower Gang. So that's how you can decide if you want to come along to the next platform. Anyways, we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Welcome to Liberty Lockdown. Please scan your barcode. Your liberty ain't gone, but yeah, it's on hold. Where did it come from and where did it